Well, Hedda, here I am in the weeds of sorrow. My poor sister has ended her struggles at last.
Yes, I'd heard.
Rena shouldn't have chosen a time like this to pass away. This is no moment for Hedda's house to be a place of mourning.
She died peacefully, Miss Tesman?
Oh, it was quite beautiful. The end came so calmly, and she was so happy to see George once again and say goodbye to him.
Won't you sit down?
Oh, no, thank you, Hedda, dear. Bless you. I'd like to, but I have so little time. I must dress her and lay her out as well as I can. She shall go to her grave looking really beautiful.
Can I help in any way?
Oh, you mustn't think of such a thing. Hedda Tesman mustn't let her hands be soiled by contact with death, nor her thoughts, not at this time.
One can't always control one's thoughts.
Well, that's life. Now we must start to sew poor Rena's shroud, and there'll be sewing to be done in this house too before long, but not for a shroud, praise God.
Who are you here, Auntie Juju? Hedda?
I'm just on the point of leaving, dear boy. Did you manage to do all those things I asked you?
No, I'm afraid I forgot half of it. I'll have to run over again tomorrow. My head's in a complete whirl today. I can't collect my thoughts.
But, George, dear, you mustn't take it like this.
But how on earth should I?
You must be happy in your grief, happy for what has happened as I am.
Oh, yes, you're thinking of poor Auntie Rena.
You'll be lonely now, Miss Tesman?
For a few days, yes, but it won't last long, I hope. Poor dear Rena's little room isn't going to stay empty. There's always some poor invalid who needs care and attention.
You really want another cross like that to bear?
Cross? Oh, God forgive you, child. It's been no cross to me. I need so much to have someone to live for, like you, my dear. And soon there'll be work in this house, too, for an old aunt. Praise God.
Please. Oh, I say, what fun the three of us will have together.
Goodbye. I must go home to Rena. Dear God, how strange. Now, Rena is with me and with poor dear Yelty.
Yes, Auntie Juju.
Dear
What? Goodbye, dear. Oh.
I really believe this death distresses you more than it does her.
Oh, it isn't just Auntie Rena, it's Eilert. I'm so worried about. Given the manuscript, Hedda, I'll run over to him with it right away. Where did you put it? What?
I haven't got it any longer.
You haven't got it? What on earth do you mean?
I burned it.
Burned it? You burned Eilert's manuscript?
Don't shout, the servant will hear you.
You burnt it? You heavens, no. Oh, no, this is impossible.
Well, it's true.
But Hedda, didn't you realize what you've done? It's appropriating lost property. That's against the law. By God, you ask Judge Brack and see if I'm not right.
You'd be well advised not to ask Judge Brack. Or anyone else.
But Hedda, how could you go and do such a dreadful thing? What on earth put the idea into your head? What came over you? You answer me. What?
I did it for your sake, George.
For my sake?
Well, do you remember this morning you described how he'd read his book to you?
Yes.
Well, you admitted that you were jealous of him.
Oh, good heavens. I didn't mean it literally.
Well, I couldn't bear the thought that anyone else should push you into the background.
Hedda, is this true? But I never realized you loved me like that. Fancy that.
Well, I suppose you had better know. I'm going to have... No. You ask your Auntie Juju. She'll tell you.
Well, Hedda, I think I understand what you mean. Good heavens, can it really be true?
Oh, shut. The servant will hear you.
The servant? I said that's good. The servant? Well, it's Berthe. I'll run out and tell her at once.
It's destroying me, all this. It's destroying me.
Hedda, what's up? What?
It's all so absurd, George.
Absurd? But I'm so happy, but sure. Oh, well, perhaps I won't say anything to Berthe.
No, do. She might as well know, too.
No, I won't say anything to her yet. Oh, but Auntie Juju, I must let her know. And you call me George for the first time, fancy that. We'll make Auntie Juju so happy, always. So very happy.
Oh, Hedda, dear, do please forgive me for coming here again.
Is it anything to do with Eilert's Lovborg?
Yes, I'm so dreadfully afraid he may have met with an accident.
You think so?
But dear Mrs. Elvsted, what makes you say that?
I heard them talking about him at the boarding house as I went in.
Hello, my dear Judge.
I had to come and talk to you.
Has anything happened?
Yes.
Oh, it's something to do with Eilert Lovborg.
How did you guess? Perhaps you've heard already.
No, not at all.
Well, my dear Judge, tell us, please.
Well, I'm afraid they've taken him to the hospital. He's dying.
So quickly.
Oh, God! God!
Hospital? Dying?
Oh, Hedda. We parted enemies. I must see him. I must see him.
It's no
before
use,
he dies.
Mrs. Elvsted. No one is allowed to see him now.
He hasn't tried to do anything to himself.
Yes, he has. I'm sure of it.
How can
I'm afraid you guessed correctly, Mrs. Tesman.
Attempted suicide. Fancy that.
Shot himself.
Right again, Mrs. Tesman.
When did this happen, Judge Brack?
This afternoon, between 3 and 4.
Good heavens. Where? What?
Where? Oh, why, my dear fellow, it is lodgings, I suppose.
No, that's impossible. I was there soon after 6.
Well, it must have been somewhere else then. I don't know exactly. I only know that he's been found. He shot himself through the breast.
Horrible. That he should end like that.
Through the breast, you said.
That is what I said.
Not the head.
Through the breast, Mrs. Tesman.
The breast. Yes, that's good, too.
Why, Mrs. Tesman?
No, I didn't mean anything.
And the wound is dangerous.
Mortal. He's probably already dead.
Yes. Yes, I feel it. It's all over. All over. Oh, Hedda.
Tell me, how did you manage to learn all this?
From the police, I spoke to one of them.
Thank God, at last.
For God's sake. Andy, what do you say?
I'm saying there's beauty in what he has done.
Hey, Mrs. Tesman, you too. Professor.
Hedda, how can you talk of beauty in connection with a thing like this?
Eilert Lovborg has settled his account with life. He's had the courage to do what he had to do.
No, that's not why it happened. He did it because he was mad.
He did it because he was desperate.
You're wrong, I know.
He must have been mad. The same as when he tore up the manuscript.
Manuscript? Did he tear it up?
Yes, last night.
Oh, Hedda, we shall never be able to escape from all this.
Strange.
To think of Eilert dying like that. And not leaving behind him the thing which would have made his name endure.
If only it could be pieced together again.
Ooh. Yes, if only it could. I'd give anything.
Perhaps it can, Mr. Tesman.
What do you mean?
I kept the notes he dictated it from.
You kept them, Mrs. Elvsted?
Yes, sir. I brought them with me when I left home. They've been in my bag ever since.
Let me have a look.
They're in a terrible muddle, all mixed up.
Suppose we could sort them out. Mrs. Elvsted, if you and I worked on them together...
Oh, yes. Well, let's try anyway.
No, we'll manage it. We must. I shall dedicate my life to this.
You, George, your life.
Yes. Well, all the time I can spare anyway. My own book will have to wait. You do understand, Hedda? What? I owe it to Eilert's memory.
Perhaps.
Now, Mrs. Elvsted, you and I must pool our brains and we must try to approach this matter calmly.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Tesman, I'll do my best.
Well, now, come over here and we'll try and sort these notes out straight away. Where shall we work? In here? No, in the other room. You would excuse us, my dear Judge. Come with me, Mrs. Elvsted.
Oh, God, where do we go?